All right, I'm finally live. Hey everybody, this is Blue the Not So Animated Pagan, and this is going to be my first time going live stream here on YouTube. And the reason why is because I am addressing some stuff with me and with the things I find important to me. First of all is I have a slight personality quirk. I am a control freak. I have control issues. And there are thousands of people right now, if they could hear that, they'd be laughing and laughing. Going, they're not issues, they're obsessions. Yes, I am that bad. And so I am doing this so that I can learn to relax a little bit more and, let people see some of my quirks, traits, and all that stuff. So that's that. So I wanted to talk to everybody today about magic. I love magic, and there is a lot to say about it. So let's go start talking about tools and all that. And you've seen in my first picture, I showed you my wand. This is my wand. There we go. All right, this is a handmade wand. It is made out of willow. And its length is of, they say you're supposed to put it in here, and some people say, go to your wrist. I go a little bit longer because I'm a big guy and I wanted a big wand. So this is made out of white willow, and for me, you can see that I got a lot of natural wood right here. I got this while was early spring. That's when the trees are starting to put out their new layer on the trunk. And so I found this nice straight piece, and I was able to peel the bark right off. That's why this is so smooth and all that. All I had to do was peel the bark off of it. And so this is what I use for my wand. Now, if you see on the inside, I got quartz. I literally just drilled a hole and put my piece of quartz in there. And at the back right here, I have some green adventurite. That little notch right here that you see and all that was the major selling point on this piece of wood here, because it fits right into my hand. I could put my hand here and I could rest my finger right on that notch. So it's always in the place I want it to be. A little quirk, I like it. Now, recently I did a video talking about improving your wand. And I kind of like that idea that we can do so much more with our wand than what many of us do. And I think this is something that people that build their own wands can do compared to those who buy pre-made wands. And that is putting on runes, sigils. So with my nice little wand here, I am considering, let me put that right there, of either putting something on top, at the bottom, or maybe even two sides here of putting runes in place. I am thinking mostly on top, grab a little sandpaper and make that flat so that I can place a couple runes on there, or sigils, whatever you want. Because see, we can add magic to anything. It's not that hard. And so this would be me adding a little bit about myself and a little bit more magic to my wand. It'd be making it a more powerful tool, and that is important to me. So I take, like I said, just going to take some sand part off so I can create. You can just do artwork on there, because the thing that makes the wand more important, more sacred, is the more time that you spend with it. We have people that have multiple wands, which is something I disagree with. I believe that you should have just one wand and it should be multi-purpose. Um, that's an argument from a long time ago. But anyway, so this is my one wand, and I can do like Celtic knot work on it, all the way up and down on the sides. Then on the top, like I said, put a sigil or two on there. I can make this very personalized. The more energy that we put into our tools, the more powerful it becomes, because these are focuses. These are ways we channel our energies. So if this becomes more personal to us when we have it in our hand, it becomes an extension of ourselves. And so we can do more with it. So, like I said, we can do more with our wands than what a lot of people will do. They think they got it one built, that's it. Well, I think the journey should never end on everything. And so I want to continue on more. Luckily for me, I got my altar like 2 feet away from my computer room. 2 feet away from my computer desk or my computer room. And so next we have the anime. And this is my sided blade. The hilt is handmade. Well, this part's not made. This is a nice metal piece. That was an original part of the this dagger, which is turned into my anime. The wooden part is something that I created. It is actually oak. It got stained, but it's a piece of white oak that I sanded down, shaped, and drilled the hole required to make it my hilt. And then, because I want to add more to it, just like I was talking about with the wand, I want to do that with this. This is a piece of copper pipe that I flattened out, and 2 sides. And I'm thinking about putting a rune on this, and so that a little bit more of me in my anime. Now, one thing I've been doing lately is I have been incorporating role-playing game to my paganism / witchcraft. Because if you have things like this, and there is a lot of spells in here, and they have what they call blade runes. And this runes literally on the blade. You are, putting your personal energy more and more into your anime. So if you are artistic, you can lay your anime down and grab some paint, and you can put runes, or you can put Celtic knot work on there. You can put pretty much anything you want to decorate your anime. Because again, this is you put energy into it, and thus this becomes a more sacred, more personalized tool, and you will have better results with it. And so the reason why I replaced the wood handle to this is simple. What I originally bought was a plastic handle. This was supposed to be an Arthenian dagger, and I bought it. I hated the handle. It was plastic. It was actually 2 pieces of plastic that was held together by the pommel and one washer up here. Yellow wire sigils. That's a good idea. I never really put much thought into the color the sigils were going to be. Yellow does make sense. So I replaced it with wood because I personally believe that plastic should never be in witchcraft. Keep the plastic away from everything. Wood, metal, grain sucks, in my personal opinion. Why? because plastic is an insulator. We put plastic on wiring so we don't get shocked. It keeps the energy isolated. Well, I think that same property goes into magic. So keep the plastic away. So Zeal, do you have any plastic tools? Oh, while you're typing away there. The other tool that I have that I made a long time ago was my pentacle. Now, I don't do pentacles because I am Celtic. I'm Scotch-Irish by heritage. And so an obsidian blade and a bone handle, oh, that'd be beautiful to see. My better half, Cindy, she has a pure wooden, I believe it's made out of oak, where the blade and the handle is just one solid piece. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing as well. Cool. This is my pentacle. And yes, it's big, and some people believe it's gaudy. Like I said, I was saying, I'm Scotch-Irish, so I follow a Celtic path. And I think the pentacle is overused, and so I used a Celtic cross. And this was made out of a 3-inch piece of copper pipe that I cut, reshaped and all that. That's why you see all the dings. It's from the hammer blow. And this thing is literally meant to be a necklace. And it goes right over my heart. And to me, that is something to wear my pentacle if I was doing ritual, which I think is something that we should have involved. I doubt if you can see it, I actually wrote a little poem on the back of it. It's called Celtic Cross. The 4 corners, the 4 elements, the 4 guardians, all 4 equal, all 4 converge at the heart in the spirit of this druid. So that is one of my tools. And the final one that, well, I had a chalice, but unfortunately I broke it. I am looking for a new glass chalice. But fire, I love to work with fire. And tea lights. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're great and all that, but I don't and be able to use it so very often. And so again, one of my main themes is using copper, because copper is a great conductor of electricity. You know, that's why we have copper electrical wire. And so I had bought some copper chain, and I used this. Yeah, cats love to get into places. And so I can reuse this over and over again. And so instead of it being a disposable tool, which is something I kind of don't like to do, that's why I bought this, so it can always be there. And it becomes a part, part of the ritual, part of the routine. Yeah, I got to ask you, with the plastic chalice, do you have any issues with that? I mean, washing that sounds like it'd be a pain in the butt. And let's see. Then I have my standard altar tile, which is basically this right here. That's what I used to, as you can tell, burn all my incense on. So if there's anything that I need to put on my altar for ritual, this is where it goes. Okay, good, good. Well, there is one thing that I use as well, and I'm considering making it my permanent chalice. And that's this beauty right here. Because basically a chalice is supposed to just be what you can drink out of, and this you can drink out of. You can store fluids in there, and you can see I got the dragon and of course my standard copper piece on it. I got this bottle at a Ren fair that I attended about 6 years ago, and inside of it is homemade wine. And so when I do rituals and all that, this is what I use to pour wine into my chalice, in my former chalice, and now I'm just say this is my chalice. And so, guys, what projects are we working on tonight on your ends? Oh, awesome. Oh, Zeal, I guess you're a busy man. Rewriting spells. Oh, now that's an interesting thing. It kind of leads into something else that I've been working on, and that is converting role-playing game spell lists to practical spell lists. Do either one of you guys, have you guys ever did the old-fashioned tabletop role-playing, like Dungeons and Dragons? Sorry, I'm over-organized. I have so many places that it is terrible. A little burned out on Sam Hain this year. Sawin, I'm sorry. Because there was this that we're celebrating it early. I mean, they were doing that. It's the first day of October. It's the first. This is like, good God. Drew the ball. All right. D&D or what game did you play? Yeah, this will work. Too much stuff, yeah. Never heard of Vampire the Masquerade before. I've only played D&D just a couple times. I was a big fan. I played that for many years. Hero's Quest. Yeah, I think I've heard that. I don't think I've ever played it. Yeah, this is the one. So I've been working on in my head of converting Rollmasters into practical spells. The wizard base list spell. Now I went through there and there's some use no matter what, because this isn't Harry Potter and all that. But there is a spell called Control, where you control the spell from. It helps prevent fumbling or spell perversion. Non-vocal. Now, I thought that was an interesting spell because, with this type of spell, it's all gestures, so you can do it quietly. Some people, how they can move their hands so eloquently, or in dance. Because we have some of the ladies that can do belly dances that are very beautiful, very elegant. Well, could you imagine doing a spell like this, nonverbal, and then put another spell with it? I think that would be somewhat practical. Then there's another one that is Spellbane. Now, maybe you guys will agree with me, maybe not. I always had a little issue with people that said they break curses because there are so many curses out there. I don't think it can be a one thing cures all. And so there's Spellbane, which kind of is focusing on, disrupting some people's spells. And, you impede somebody. Now, the impede on this spell list is pretty good because it talks about a person having to have to spend more energy to cast a spell. So if somebody is drained of their energy faster, then they might not be able to do a adequate job in the ritual, and then their spell would fail. And so that would be, I think, an interesting defense. Basil, you seem to have a different view on magic than me in some ways. Do you deal with anything like that in any of your spell work? I did not know that there's a concept that trees absorbed curses. Huh. Well, it probably makes sense. I mean, with the Druids, the way they did tree worship, and trees were a very important part of their path and all that. That might have some strong connections with the Celts and the Druids. So the Rollmaster system, they'd have 25 spells per spell list. And okay. Well, you try to leave other people alone, but sometimes you got to protect others and you have to defend yourself. And so, sometimes I'm thinking there are other ways to create magical defenses. And that's why I was kind of going into like the Spellbane spell lists so that people can come up with other options. Okay. Just a little bit. I consider myself a Grey Witch because I believe that we have to work on both sides. I strongly oppose those people that say that they're light workers and shun the negativity and all that crap. I believe that sometimes you got to get a little bit mean. I reflect back, like look at the Vikings. I mean, they peace, but they had no problem in, kicking a little ass. Uh-oh, YouTube's not gonna like that. I just use profanity. Um, okay, yeah, I agree with you on that. Which I had this whole points and all that I was going to use for tonight's little video experiment. And one of the is, why not curse somebody? Because we have so many into this absolute white light, harm none stuff. And, there's a point where I think, hexing somebody or doing something that's a temporary little jab is just a part of survival in many ways. The voodoo part, I've always been a little bit kind of confused on, because they say there's voodoo, hoodoo, and there's this big gray area on what it is. At least to me it is. There is. So, but how do I say this? I think so many people just want to classify voodoo as dark magic. And I don't think it should be just classified that. I think voodoo it's a large unknown that I gotta improve on. I was, continuing on the converting spells. There is one spell list. It's called Weather Mastery in the game, and there is things like predict precipitation, call a mist, some small little things that you can do with weather working, because I think too many people honestly think just because they can do this little thing here, they all of a sudden the next day could do something huge, and there's no real progression with it. And so somebody might be able to put a couple clouds in the sky, and so they're thinking that tomorrow they can call out a thunderstorm or something like that. So that's the other reason why I'm doing this, is to show progression and skills for people, because we cannot rate our spells to be, a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and all the way up. We just kind of have all these spells, and it's kind of a lot of guesswork. Well, can this person do it or can they not? And so, what do you guys think about that? Should there be a level of progression for spell users to consider when they're trying to perform a grand spell or ritual or incantation, however you want to say it? The bad thing about this is, okay, I got the little chart that says 3 people are watching this, which is cool. But, they don't say who it is. All you can do is tell that by the comments. Oh, let's see. So what do you guys want to talk about? Yes, too many people violate the Don't conjure what you can't banish spell. Um, there's not enough teachers out there, honestly. I mean, we have so many people that are home taught, and so we got people that don't know the limitations of their abilities. Yes, yeah. I agree with you, Azil. You can't have this. This is my standard hex breaking spell. It's going to break all hexes. No, again, that doesn't work. At least I don't think it should work, because there are so many different ways to curse somebody. Because you can make them constantly talk. You could make them be a chronic liar. You can give them constant flatulence. You can do all these little things, and it would take a long time for somebody to figure out that they've been cursed. And so that's the mean part about me. If I'm going to curse somebody, I'm going to give them something little that affects life, and where they're not going to be able to go, wow, something's really screwed up here. So if you can't just go, hey, I've been cursed, can you break it? Because I think the person that's breaking the spell, if it's a different person, has got to be able to isolate it, figure out what it is, and what to do to break it. So I think there needs to be a few more schools on curse breaking, hex breaking, honestly. So let's see. What else is there on that? And also, I think that some people can be smart on their curses, because let's say somebody was wanting to get even with me, and they decided to curse me, but to do it in a way that I can't fight back logically. I know. Oh yeah, you got to exploit people's weaknesses and all that. Because, like, for me, one of the other reasons why I'm doing this is I got to learn to speak a little bit more fluidly, more eloquently when I'm talking. I give them public speeches. And so if you take somebody that has a slight confidence problem in their public speaking, then hit them with that could be devastating. And yet something so minor. But as I was saying, instead of cursing me, they could curse the house. I'm asking people to break the curse on me because, when I'm home, I'm having a bad time, but people are going, there's no curse on you. There's no curse on you. And so it would take a long time to figure out that somebody put a curse on the house. You could put a curse on a car. Good old Christine, And so I think that to make people think simple, one-dimensional, two-dimensional thinkings when it comes to curses. We attack the person, and we have a universal hex breaker. And that's one of the other reasons why I love role-playing. I bet you guys love role-playing too, because, you didn't just have witch or wizard. You had all these different options. And so a person can really tailor their magic to achieve something specific, unique, and not this general, magic stuff that's in most of these spell books out there. Okay, yeah. Cool. And let's see. And really, when I look at like my Rollmaster spell laws, there are a lot of dark spells on there. There is, like a couple of spell lists that are devoted strictly into cursing people. And, some of these you don't want to do. I mean, there is one spell list where, it's like convincing somebody to commit suicide. I personally can't do that. I could picture myself doing that, but I think that sometimes cursing is the best thing to do. Oh, I agree with you there, Zeal. Role playing does use a lot of visualization and action. And that is how I got introduced really into magic and all that. And the funny story on this, like I've been talking about Rollmaster, my spell name is Blue Sage Dragon. Well, I got the concept of sage from being a sage while role playing, because the sage was the lore master, the guy that knew everything. And hello, I'm not that cute. That's why I got to use animation. But because this person was knowledgeable, and that's the one thing I want to do, I want to learn. I want to know as much as I can about magic, history, science, and all that. And so that's why I adopted Sage into my spell name. So let's see. Spell name story. Okay. I'm just rattling off, guys. I call myself Blue Sage Dragon because when I was trying to come up with my spell name, I read a couple of articles and all that, and I decided, okay, well, my favorite color is blue, obviously. Sage, because I want to be knowledgeable. I hate stupid people and all that. And then Dragon was my favorite fictional mythical, so I just put them all there, and that's how I come up with Blue Sage Dragon. Does anybody else have any cool, like witch name stories? Bad thing about being over-organized, you sometimes place everything in the wrong spot. I've even created my own statues for some of the Celtic gods that I have on my altar, or that I honor. And so I have, I got to get used to this reversal thing here. But this is a 6 1/4 owl that is shaped, and then I painted to represent a specific Celtic god. So like this one is Granus, which is a god of healing, and is Lear, who is the Celtic god of oceans. A total of 22 of the staff, male, female. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting story, Azil. You were a grave digger. I'd love to put that on a resume and see how people freak out on that. Hmm. Able to shut off your more compassionate side. They call that for me Tuesday. Um, Now, isn't Aziel the Christian angel of death? Okay. Okay, I want to just pull this in and all that. But uh, how much of the Christian archangels and all that do you have in your path work? Okay, now I know a location. I'll just have to look that up on the internet. Oh, that would be hard. How are you dealing with that, Aziel? Azrael, sorry. Okay. Well, that's an interesting job. I love to spend a day, working beside you, because I think that'd be very interesting. I think we should all experience different types of jobs, so we can experience more. One of the biggest weaknesses that I see in the pagan witch community is there's a major lack of experience for so many people. And I think they need a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge. Okay. Yeah. Um, I guess I wasn't the best Christian when I was a Christian, and I never really studied the archangels like some people do. And so when I left Christianity, gosh, just over 15 years ago, I just basically said, not going to learn about it, don't want to deal anything with Christianity. I'm unfortunately one of those people that basically says, I'm keeping all Christian aspects out of my pagan beliefs, and that's that. Lullaby comes from Lilith? Huh, did not know that. Well, thank you guys. I always like to learn something interesting. Oh, okay. That's an interesting viewpoint, Azrael. Oh, cool. Hmm. I actually have a book that I got borrowed out to a friend Superstitions. To see if that's in there. Dribble. I think that's what's her name? The Banshee. In a lot of the Celtic descriptions that I have read, they call the Banshee a pale redhead. So maybe it's in there. Huh. You know, I think one of the other things I want to do, and I got to wait till I get my book back, and that was to go through some of these books of superstitions and see how much of that has influence into our pagan beliefs, because there is just so much out there in old superstitions, some little tidbit here, little tidbit there, and we can see how it all comes together in our path. Yeah, I agree there, Drew Ball. So, I'm just jumping around here, guys, because like I said, I got a lot I'm wanting to talk about. But I also want your guys' insight, because, I want to, as well as, share information. And so I got to ask you guys, how do you view the elements? Because I think so many people view the elements in their delicate form, because it's like when they are doing the representing fire, they get out a little candle, and that's that. If they want to represent the earth, they get out this pretty little crystal and they'll filter. But Mother Nature is not that way. Mother Nature is brutal. It can be fatal. It is impressive, And so when you think about it, the raw forces of the elements, because, this is something I worked on. So if you're thinking about the raw power of Earth, why not an earthquake? I know we can't put that on our altars and all that, but when we visualize the raw power of the earth, why not an earthquake? So then you would also go, if you're talking about air, the raw elemental force would be a tornado, water, tidal wave. And then for fire, a firestorm, such as, like when they're having the big forest fires and you see that like little rope fire tornado, well, that's a firestorm. Well, yeah, Dribble. Now that's what I would put on my altar. Now, I did show some of my representation when it is altar inside, but I just think people have gotten their humanized versions of elements put on their altar, because, like I said, they gave the controlled version. Like, here's the little tea light. If you're working with elements, energies for your rituals, and you got expecting a little candle to represent fire might be kind of unproportional, I think would be the best word to say. So what I've been thinking about was I called it calling a dark circle. Let me read this off to you guys here. Um, this is something I wrote, like I said, many years ago. To the north, power of the earth and pentacle, the stone that is adamant and eternal. To the east, power of wind and of the sword, the wind that can destroy the thickest wall. To the south, power of fire and the wind and the wand, the fire that can turn all life into ash. To the west, power of water and the cup, the water that can wash away anyone's dreams. As I look to the north again, my circle is complete, built of four raw elements and united in power. That's just how I kind of was going through that little, you know, like I was saying earlier, I'm not the, harm none type person. I'm like Ray, and sometimes I need to put a little bit more power, think Tim the Toolman Taylor on. It changes the world. I have evoked this circle to become part of this power. For too long, I have sat dormant while others gained around me. Now is my time to gain. The others have squandered their wealth and become weak. I shall harness from and grow to live a better life. From the earth, I want wealth and security. I life, but stay vigilant of the mind. From the air, I want people to hear my words and understand my views and reasons, not to dictate over, but to educate. From the fire, I want the passion to flow through me and to the ones I talk with. From the water, I want the ability to cleanse my negativity and my hindrances, to see the world how it should be. I thought of my offerings to the guardians as tribute. No offering is worthy of this request, so I offer myself. I am willing to be an extension of your wills in return for my request. I will work to better my part of the world. Then the final part, to the north of earth, I give homage to your mighty hand. To the west of water, I give homage to your graceful force. To the south of fire, I give homage to your burning rage. To the east of air, I give homage to your powerful breath. Now my circle is open and this ritual is complete. I am forever bound to the four elements that tonight I did call. United together, our will shall be done, so mote it be. That was something like that I wrote a few years ago. What do you guys think of something like that? Have you guys ever done anything like what I just done? Right, yeah. I think the elements are active and passive as well. Oh, I have not done any type of alchemy work. There's that whole, don't conjure what you can't handle. Well, I have not done enough research on alchemy where I don't want to do something stupid. Oh, wow, 55 minutes. Um, So, Ezreal, you've done some alchemy. Uh, what what have you been able to? I at one time had a book of poetry, and I misplaced it in one of my moves, and I wish I could find it again. I think poetry should be almost a required art, especially if you're going to be a witch, a spell user, because incantations is basically poetry. And the better the poetry, the better the rhyme, the rhythm, and all that, the better off I think the poem incantation would be. Um, so I have to laugh at all the our millennials that are on their cell phones and only can do the 126 character Twitter posts, and they don't know the elegance of words and the power of words. Yes, I am judgmental. I have to admit that. I am a highly opinionated person, and I'm learning slowly but surely to be a little bit more kind, a little bit more compassionate towards people. A lot better than what I used to be. Oh, yeah, well, words are magical, Druid Ball, because our incantation is nothing but words, and each word represents a concept of thought. So if a certain group of words can make a statement, can put a concept together, words can be dangerous. One of my favorite professions in Rollmaster was what did they call it? Cabist, Kabbalist. Oh, I'm forgetting. But this is some words for magic, and actually, and I probably don't have that notebook with me. I might. There is command words, which I thought was interesting, where a person, a spell user, could say one word to help change the emotion of the room. Maybe it's on this one. Yes, it is. Sweet. So I have a list of command words right here. You cannot use it. Well, this is my interpretation. Please tell me if you disagree on this one. You might know the concept of command words. This is where you say a word and you try to change the emotions in a room. So like the first one, the most obviously one there is be calm. Where you're going, be calm, and you're trying to settle down everybody's, elevated emotions. You are visualizing, you're taking your hands, you're putting energy out there, and you're calming everybody down. So, oh, thank you. I bought this house roughly 5 years ago, and it's fix the I the guy do in this room. You can tell it's from right there. Small crack in the wall. It's fixed. I just got finished patching that up. Had to put in a new foundation downstairs in the basement. But, so command words could be anything. You can tell somebody truth. You can, phrase it however you want it. You can tell somebody, be honest. Trying to, send out the energy to force somebody to tell the truth. And, I think that would be something that people can work on. This would be everyday magic. All of these would be everyday magic, because I think we should learn these as skills and learn how to, ground and center it, and being able to tell somebody, you're right, Lady Witch, you are right, always fixing something, or constantly decorating, because oh geez, Cindy has put up 13, well, no, not Cindy, I put up 13 strings of lights for my front porch for Samhain. Okay, take care. Have a good. Hopefully, I'll talk to you soon. Anyway, so we can use these spells or these words on a daily basis, so we can tell somebody to forget. If they're having a hard time, the energy into our words, into our actions, and tell somebody to forget. This could work really good, especially for kids who are going through a hard time. They had a bad day, because it's so hard. We easily remember bad events. We easily forget the good events. Yeah, I know trauma does that to people, and so we could easily, learn to like put our hand on their back or something like that, and just forget and try to help them out. Now, some of these are offensive in nature. I'm just going to go through them real quickly. You got be calm, beware, truth, confuse, fascinate, forget, like, love, hate, doubt, defend, vengeance, panic, fear, be humble, relax, be open, be conceited. Like I said, I think both sides of the fence on these. Be cunning, play fair, be aggressive, be confident, be reckless, be introverted, be extroverted, share, greedy, methodical, show compassion, be hostile, be argumentative, forgive, and teamwork. So just going off of some of those, let's use everybody's favorite person. Well, most of the people's favorite persons, Emily, who I've made many videos about. We can use these words on her. I mean, we would love for her to calm down, so we can do like a mass be calm on her, be pointless at some points. Telling her to relax. Emily, relax. All right. Let the small things pass. Send out that energy. It's just an idea that I have that I'm trying to build all the mechanics for. Okay. So does anybody else have something that they want to talk about since I've been? rambling on the microphone for just over an hour. Well, since I have been online for an hour and I've expressed a lot of little things that I've been wanting to talk about, what Emily does wrong with her magic, oh gosh, I don't know if we got the 10 hours to discuss that. Holy crap, that's a lot. But okay, let's do that. Now, about a year ago, I watched a video that Emily did when she was trying to curse somebody. And she had her limited little altar, and she was burning a candle. Well, that was just some major wrong right there, because the candle holder was a heart-shaped red candle holder. She was using a representation of love, cursing spell. And so, I mean, that right there is very important, because everything on your, should represent the type of spell that you're doing. But all of my different statues that I have, you don't want to have a goddess of a love goddess when you are going out for vengeance. And Emily, I don't think understands that part. Pronunciation. Lady Witch's Emily's ability word is limited in many ways, and I'm not trying to be overly mean, I'm just trying to be honest. That I have also with her is that she gets the words. I really believe that magic is fickle, very fickle. And so if you are not detailed, describing exactly what you want, it's going to be going down, 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 then turn away, and it's going to... Hi, YouTube. And so that's the problem I see with Emily Magic. He wants to do easy stuff, and I think that she's ending up hurting herself. I wonder, and there's no way that I would ever find out, but I wonder how many times she has screwed herself up, where her magic has perverted, and it's caused problems for herself. Because we call her the tooth a reason. Well, is that possibly because of something she did to somebody that bit her in the ass? Okay, yeah, Dribble. I agree. Not everybody can be a witch, a magic user. I think everybody has potential, but I don't think everybody has the same or gifts in same areas. So I think that Emily could have been, she could be a witch in some manner. Um, I don't think she has enough discipline to be a magic user in any way, shape, or form, for one. Um, okay. Emily goes through pain. She goes through loss. So, man, if that was the case, man, she'd be a very magical person. Um, but I think there's discipline and knowledge that have to be in there as well. And Emily does not have that. But let's see. What else has Emily done? Oh, the rush job. Um, about 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, I did a little bit about sigil magic. Then all of a sudden, she became a sigil. Okay, and she was grabbing paper and grabbing crayons and trying to make sigils at people, Bora and some, maybe, but she rushed them because she did these 3 sigil videos within an hour, and if you're going to do it right, you got to be patient. Emily can't be patient. I mean, that is one of the reasons why she can't find a god or goddess to work with, because she lacks the patience to dedicate herself and to follow through with that dedication. I would really help. I don't think anybody can give it to her. She wants to say that she's the witch of Odessa, Missouri. That's not saying a lot for Odessa, Missouri. Okay. But Emily, of a gift for magic and something, but she hasn't found it yet. Like I've been saying, she doesn't have the discipline, the intelligence. She lacks follow through. I don't think she can ground in the center to save her life, honestly. Um, her emotions are a major problem as well. I guess, that's part of the grounding and centering, is to get your emotions under control so that you can have a clear mind, level-headed, and going in and doing your ritual. She probably did make a video like that. She does so many videos jumping all over the place. Yeah, she does not have the ability to focus. And because she can't focus, she can't get the visualization right. I mean, you cannot have a pictured it and it's done. Sorry. I'm sorry, I had to laugh. I'll explain just when you visualize it, that image in your head for a little bit. You all know that. Emily, I don't think, can. And so, cream collie, cream collie. And, I wanted to write a post response on that lady witch. I wanted to go, I'm hungry for some cauliflower now. But I'm trying to hold back a little bit here. I was laughing about Emily's little instantaneous stuff because I have videos and where she is going that she can curse anybody. She can do it. She was yelling out one person, just saying, all I have to do is curse you and it's done. All I have to do is snap my fingers. And this is like, no, you can't. No. Uh-uh. And so, yeah, restraint. So those are many of the reasons why Emily's attempts at magic are wrong. She is got to be self-taught. I don't believe she has had any experienced person, teacher. I don't think she could hold the focus, the commitment again, to learn something. She's shown videos with her Kindle she has, but from what I'm seeing, she's grabbing encyclopedias. She's not actually grabbing a book that's going to teach her concept from start to finish. So, excuse me. I think is a major problem with Emily's magic. She's pretty much has got to forget everything she's ever done and start from square one and how to, work a spinner and all that. How does everybody here know Emily? Because Dead Woman's Grave videos have you watched? Lady Witch, since I've been doing this for over an hour now, Emily came up with a new video for the day that I need to watch and laugh at. Was actually on here, and she might still be on here. I don't know. They don't list the people who's in the room, just the comments. But oh, dribble, yeah, exactly. If you try to take magic, being pagan, serious like I do, and watch some of Emily's stuff, you're just like turning your head. You're just going, what the fuck is wrong with you? Hi, YouTube. I'm sorry. I do the hi, YouTube every time I cuss. But yeah, it is hard to take Emily serious. But earlier, talked to Ezra about words and Drew Balto. She does say a lot of words, and this is the part that kind of worries me about her is, since words are thoughts and these are emotions, and could she be sending out enough everywhere where there's a cumulative effect? I mean, where it's the exact opposite of what Emily was claiming, and where instead that shit's done, it's like it takes 4 months of her rantings to get enough energy to light a big lighter, type thing. Okay, yes, Dead Woman's Grave. Yeah, they're draining, aren't they? You watch her videos and you're just like, where did you learn this? I mean, that's why I do some of my comical videos and doing all that, because I am trying my best to put a light spin on this so that I can walk away without going, what the fuck's wrong with you, you stupid bitch? Hi, YouTube. Because, Emily's got some serious issues, and she needs a lot of help to get them taken care of. And I really hope she finds some help. I don't think Emily can control herself. That thing about manta training, and using that against Emily as a guidelines for Emily. Because her two bottom tiers are really fucked up, she has so many unmet needs that her rage has got to go somewhere. And since she cannot yell at the state of Missouri because they are the ones that are providing everything she needs, they got to go up and out. So it's going to be people like you, Lady Witch, people like me that she's going to vent at. And that's the reason why I did that walkaway video as well, because I felt sorry for her. We have morals, we have ethics, and sometimes you don't want to kick somebody while they're down. So every once in a while, you got to go, hey, walk away from this. I'll turn around too and just, act like we don't know each other. But Emily can't do that. She needs to direct her anger at somebody. She needs us. This is my opinion. She needs us to vent to. So when the state tells her that she has to fill out this paperwork to get her food stamps and all that, well, if she has any problem, she's going to make a video and she's somebody. But poking the bear is dangerous, because, there's going to be those times where the bear's got the advantage and he's going to do a hell of a lot of damage. I've been able to control my temper. Even when I did the F-bombs for Emily, I was holding back. Zabora, I know, is starting to really get stressed out. Zabora holding back too. So there's going to be that time, there's somebody that's going to be absolutely terrible. Because yeah, okay. Or you can just say, a big difference between a bear and, pick a fantasy creature, any of them. Or dragon for primary. Yeah, let's poke the fire-breathing dragon with a stick. Hey, stupid, and then get torched. Basically what's going to happen to her someday. What can I do? I can do something probably pretty evil. Because I work with people with mental challenges. Oh, okay. What game is that? Well, where did that name come from, Druid Balls? And I've never heard that term for a dragon. But as I was saying, I work with people that have mental disorders. They are mentally retarded, Down syndrome, they are bipolar, schizophrenic. So I have had these classes. I could literally, very possible, send a letter through the governments and all that and get in contact with the Missouri State Welfare Board and ask for her to be evaluated under mental terms. And if that's done, and on one of her bad days, they might actually decide that Emily could go to or should go to a mental ward for a psych evaluation and have her kids removed, going to a relative. So, I mean, that's how dangerous of the life she's living. But I won't do that because it affects the kids, although I'm wondering at times if that would be the good thing for me to do, because it might get the kids out of that bad environment. Oh, okay. All right. So that's, I'm trying to think of it. The world serpent, I believe, is the other term for it. The dragon that goes all the way around the world, where its tail is, right next to its mouth as well. Am I thinking of the right one, Druid Ball? Well, yeah, Lady Witch. I worry about her kids too, because I was just thinking that she had one, that's been bad, but she's got two kids that she's taking care of. And what was her name? Shauna. Shauna was up, and she was putting up comments to defend her mother. That little girl should not have been doing that. She's like 15 years old, and that's something she should never have been doing. So Emily should be ashamed of herself for that. Okay. All right, Dribble. I don't know much about, I should say, as much about German Norse mythology. So I learned another thing today. Yeah. And I just got to ask, for those of you that have seen the, Thor Ragnarok, is that dragon actually in the movie? I'm sorry, I refuse to watch any more Marvel superhero movies since Winter Soldier. And the good thing for Shauna, this is going to make her a stronger person. She might be one heck of a caregiver when she gets older. She might want to consider working like in nursing and all that, because she might just have a good knack for it. Well, Marvel, they don't follow mythology all that well. So, which is, they got to do what needs to be done to bring in the money. But yeah, I feel sorry for Shauna, and I forget what her brother's name is, but they need to be protected, and we got to find a way to do it. So yeah, maybe you should contact her caseworker. Send her some of Emily's videos. I'll do in a moment's notice. So let's see, what else is there about Emily? We need to organize a little bit more on our Emily bingo card. Because now that she really went through a lot of changes, going back saying, she's a Christian and a hedge witch. And, that's another thing, Dead Woman's Grave, that's wrong with Emily. She cannot dedicate herself into an area of magic. It hasn't even been a year, and she was talking about weather Wicca, and Thor was going to be her patron god. Then she was talking about herbology. She's just constantly changing focus. And, I've been doing a lot of research on the Alexandrian Wicca, and to advance into a degree into Alexandrian Wicca, they're saying it should take a year and a day on the basic increase to go from oh gosh, what is it, devotee to neophyte. But to go up from first degree to second degree, they were saying that it should take 2 to 3 years to do it. And then we got Emily here that is, proclaiming all this magic in a week's notice. And so, it's laughable at best, humiliating at worst. And, my biggest problem is, there's going to be people that are going to believe her. I mean, doesn't she already have a few people as supporters saying that she's a good queen? Wait, what did they say? A good sister queen. And so, these people are being deceived. And I hate to see what type of magic she tries to do with them. It's like, how do I say this? The dumb leading the blind. Okay. Yeah. And so, yeah, she's just royally messed up. She needs a lot of help. So, does anybody else have a little topic we could talk to? Because, I'm wide awake. I'm a night owl. I do overnight shift, taking care of my guys. Oh, and I know you guys have probably seen me do it, and you guys are probably just wondering what the heck's wrong with me. You see me going like this with my little goatee. I have been working on trying to train it. There was a wrestler who died a couple months ago, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and that was the way his beard was. Came to a point, and a couple inches longer, and so I'm just slowly trying to get my little goatee to be like that, because I always liked him as a wrestler. I got my little computer desk here, and I got so many things to work on. All right, have a good night, Druid Ball, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. This has actually been a lot of fun. I was really worried about doing this tonight because I know that I overanalyze things and sometimes gets tied up. But I think I'm doing pretty good tonight. And so there's a little something interesting for us to talk about. So, what is everybody's opinion on all these people with their 30 to 40 tarot decks? Do you think that it is all right to have so many tarot decks and having your claiming to be a witch, but all you seem to do is talking about tarot deck, tarot deck, tarot deck? Because myself, the belief that the tarot deck, if it's a tool in your path, you should only have one with it to use it. I find it kind of weird that somebody can have 30 tarot decks and say that they work equally, because I'm going, no, that's too many decks. You're going from one to the other, no connection. And if you do try to build a connection with all the tarot decks, you only have so much energy, and here you are, you're going here, 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 and so you're not putting a lot of each deck, instead of putting a good amount of energy into so anybody have that? If you agree with me, I want to hear about it, because we can have a conversation about it. So you only got 3 decks that you regularly use. So those 3 decks apart from all the other decks that you have lately. I have the Druidcraft tarot deck, obviously, because I have Scotch-Irish heritage, and all had to be a tarot deck. Excuse me. I love the imagery, and I know that's why so many people buy a collection of tarot. They say they love the artwork and all that, and I'm just going, but it's the same, different, the same exact story, because the tarot deck is, it has a to it. Each card has a specific meaning. Doesn't matter what Druidcraft tarot deck, all the tarot decks tell the same story. So that's why I'm kind of asking that, because, to me, I think that's an interesting conversation. And now Lady Witch is going, oh my God, shut him up. Yes, I'm trying to have a sense of humor. And if we wanted to have a lot of fun, I can just get out Silver Ravenwolf. Something that you'll never hear anybody say is that they got too many books. There it is. Yes, I actually do have that book. Okay, well, I think the Rider-Waite, that's pretty much a given. You really can't say you have a collection of tarot decks unless you have that one in there. The Vampire and the Witch deck, I think I've seen 1 or 2 versions of Vampire tarot decks. They're pretty interesting. Some of them have some excellent artwork to them. Yes, that's one of the reasons why I love the Druid craft so much. That artwork has such a strong Celtic vibe to it. I just love it. Um, and so it's also the reason why I don't have any others, because all the rest of them pale in comparison. Um, I guess the other thing, I did a video about this just over a year ago, if I remember right, talking about some of the dumb tarot decks that they come up with. Um, everybody loves Lord of the Rings, but they got a Lord of the Rings tarot deck, and it's just all right. I think they had created Sabrina the Teenage Witch tarot deck. There, of course, is your Harry Potter tarot deck, and a Halloween tarot deck, not the spooky it's all wind type tarot deck. Halloween, as in kids in Halloween costumes, kid 10-year-old used in it, and it's just like, yay. Yeah, I thought the Harry Potter tarot deck was very silly. That's, I think, one of the things that turns me off from tarot decks, is that they have become mainstream. In most parts, they are becoming very mainstream, and everybody is coming up with their own version, and some of them are just so damn take seriously. So, Lady Witch, do you have a deck that you bought that you're kind of going, man, I wish I wouldn't have bought that? These couple pictures are cool, but the rest of them are and since we got 4 people watching, how about okay, a Native American tarot deck? Oh, combining 2 unrelated things. That's kind of like putting apples and oranges together and saying, here you go, use this. But thieves in magic. I mean, obviously, we can just talk about Emily all over again, because I know she sets off so many of them. But thieves, any misconceptions that just drive you up the one of my other little pet peeves, and it's a silly little one, I have to admit that, is when it comes to stuff, to the rocks and all that, because so many of these younger people that are into using stones, everything's a crystal, and it's like crystal magic for this, crystal magic for that, and they'll grab like a jasper, and you're just going, that's not a crystal. That is probably one of my more irritating pet peeves, because the way I look at it is, if you are somebody that's going to try to sell stones for their magical abilities, know what the fuck you're talking about. Hi, YouTube. Because if you are going to just classify everything as a crystal, you are then just used to sell your product, and shame on you. what other ones is there? Let's see. Come on, Lady Witch. There's just so many I don't want us to talk about. Oh yeah, there's always the, are you a good witch or a bad witch? And I just go, I'm an asshole. Hi, YouTube. Then let's see. I hate the concepts, and this is coming very, very, very often now, in which a lot of these light worker Wiccans will declare the, oh gosh, well we'll go there, but I'll finish this real quickly, where the light worker Wiccans with their harm none tell everybody that they need to be vegan, and that if you're not vegan, you can't be a Wiccan. No. Yes, yes, you're either a white witch or you are evil. Well, I'm evil then, because I am a great, I work with shadows along with the light. I balance everything out, because you can't have one without the other. But tarot decks versus oracle decks. Now, for the others that are watching this, yeah, on Facebook and all that, I got defriended a few times because I would go find, like a recipe that has a good, beautiful image, like of a bacon cheeseburger, and then ask them, if eating a hamburger is so bad, why do you guys want to copy it so much? And that usually gets them to flake out. But oracle decks, they, this is kind of the eclectic version where somebody takes their own concept and, comes up with any number of cards, and sometimes there's a story, a theme, sometimes there isn't, or just something that I can't quite fathom. And so you don't know what you're getting when you get an oracle, because I have seen hundreds of animal themed oracle decks. What's the story? What's the theme? They're usually going off of animal magic. You got the coyote, which means cunning, stealth, and that, which, okay. So then the bear is a representation of earth and maternal skill. Okay. So I can understand that, but some of the other forms of oracle decks, they're out there. And then we have people that consider oracle decks the same as tarot decks. There's some major differences. You not only, with the number of cards, the theme, the story, what you're talking about. So everybody, call it a night myself, and I have been going for an hour, and it has been fun. I am going to try to do this a little bit more often. I'm going to see if I can do this like every other week. When I'm at work and while I got my guys asleep, come up with a whole bunch of different points to talk about, and we could then have a good old chat And Lady Witch, you can help me on this one. I mentioned this about having a debate, a challenge between and here, where I have been the camera and those two next, you know, say whatever they want, has, you know, more advantage, and I could be up challenging questions, viewpoint on the goddess, and, you know, on, and so that those two can hash out some frustration, and we can maybe bring this epic experience with Emily to. So anyway, thank you for this wonderful time. Take care. Be at peace.